So I'm very happy to finally speak to you, Adele. Thanks so
Oh, me
much for
too.
coming on today and doing this with
Oh,
me.
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I think to start off, maybe you can just introduce yourself to my followers.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Adele, and I'm the founder and owner of the company called Buy Yourself. And I founded that company because of my own journey of not having to, not buying myself on my journey, meaning I had lived my life for a very long time based on other people's expectations, based on what I thought I should do, based on who I thought I should be. And I realized for a long time that I had sold my life to everything and everyone but myself. And I also realized in order for me to live my life from myself, I have to first buy myself. And with buy myself, meaning live a life from inside, from my own dreams, my own values, my own aspirations, my own thoughts, my own beliefs, and my own stories. And that's what I'm doing. So today I coach people to actually reconnect to that self and live a life from that place rather than living a life from everyone else's wants, wishes, needs, expectations.
So amazing what you do. And I think I should have known you and have found you a few years ago because I think I was your ideal client a few years
Yeah.
back. Completely how you described it. So
Hmm.
I'll just explain who I am to your
Yeah.
followers. So I'm Christy, I'm a career coach, and I help women find a meaningful and fulfilling career. And I specifically focus on women who've experienced a burnout in the past. And, through going through pretty much being rock bottom, you change, you start to go on that personal development journey and you become more confident and you figure out that there's just so much more that you can do and pretty much you can achieve whatever you want. So a lot of women, they're like, okay, but I know that I can do something else. But first of all, what? I've no clue. And how am I going to do it? And that's where I come in to really help them go in that discovery of who they really are. And a lot of my clients are exactly like what you described, that they realize they didn't know this really before, but now they're like understanding it more and more how much they were actually living for the outside world, how much they were really living in order to please their parents, to belong to their friends. Um, and I think this is quite a normal thing if you think back to the tribal, times in the prehistoric times. We had to belong to the tribe because if we didn't, then we would die. So we had to fit in and we had to do everything according to what everybody else was doing. But now there's like I'm sure everybody's heard this story, but I just always love this that there's no more big tiger trying to eat you up or grab you. We're safe. So we don't need to do everything according to the books or how we're expected to live our lives. We can pretty much create our own lives on our own terms. And that's absolutely amazing once you really start to realize this.
Yeah, no, fully agree. And I mean, to your point, I think there's so many people that I have also met and also me back then that would have need to meet you. Because I do believe that there's a correlation. Like if you don't buy yourself, that will actually lead to burnout. Like, so if you're living a life that's not according to you, then you're always going to have this resistance inside. And this resistance is this thing that causes, I think, burnout. Like, this questioning of, who am I? What am I doing here? Is it supposed to feel like this? And constantly pushing for a life that's not feeling right.
Yeah. And I mean, there are actually so many people who are experiencing burnout. Like I was really quite shocked by the statistics, but also by so many people who I speak to. And it's not only clients, but it's also people, friends, family. It's really a big thing. And that just shows that we're not living in alignment. We're not living according to our values. We're not doing the things that we really want to do. And I prepared some questions for you. Let's just see how it goes. And you know what? Because you also speak to these people a lot, to these women. Why? What do they tell you? Like, why do they, focus so much on that external achievements, like titles, money, status? Even though they're choosing that over their internal happiness, so they're not happy but still they rather choose the great title and the perfect outside picture. What do you think is the core reason for this?
Yeah. We can go back all the way to childhood where many things start. I know, maybe some people are bored of hearing this or tired of hearing it, but that is actually the case. I mean, when we grow up and how we grow up is so, so crucial to who we turn out to be. And for many of us, if not all of us, also through social media and TV and everything, we're conditioned to think that money and success and titles and public recognition equal happiness, or it also is tied to your worth, like your self-worth and worthiness. So it's this narrative that we've been living by, and if it's not aligned with who you truly are and who you were born to be and what you were born to serve in this world, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to keep chasing this external validation, this external dream, but internally you will still feel empty and not alive and not happy. And you will wonder, what is this all for? Someone at some point told me that if I do this or if I reach that and if I become this, then I will be happy. And I think most of the time it's also the feeling we're chasing. Like we're thinking that once we get to that point, we will feel like this. And of course, that's not going to happen, because once we get to that point, then we're going to change to the next point and the next point, and the feeling will not follow.
I
And the,
think, yeah, no, I think with my own journey, I'm also realizing that now. I remember when I just started my coaching, I was like, if only I get my first client, then you know. And then
yes.
when I got that, I was definitely happy, but then it was like, okay, now what? And then it was the next goal. Then I was like, okay, well, if I have so many clients, and then I had that, and then I was like, ah, then I was thinking back of all the things I read, and like, oh, now I'm seeing it in front of my own face in my own life. And then I realized how much important it is to just focus on the journey and on becoming a new person and on learning and growing instead of just reaching the goal. It's really about becoming the person
Yeah.
instead of getting
Yeah.
to the destination. It's about the train ride.
It's about the trainer. I mean, if you think about it from when you're young, like in school, you're always chasing the next level, the next, grade, the next, and after primary school, then there's university, and after university, then there's a job, and after there's a job, then there's marriage, and there's house. Like we're conditioned to, follow this step of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're not trained to stop and being in the moment and enjoying the train ride and actually celebrating life and experiencing life while we're living it. And this is madness.
And look, what I do want to say, because I'm not trying to say that, oh, you shouldn't want nice things or like earn a nice salary or something like that. I'm not saying that at all. I think first you need to find out who you really are and what you really want to do. And once you've found that passion and you're really doing something and you know truly in your heart that you're doing something that's really making you fulfilled, of course it's nice to then be able to buy nice things with the things that you earn if you want that. But it shouldn't be that you're really feeling sad and miserable inside, but you do have the nice house and the nice car. So that I just want to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The journey shouldn't be a struggle to reach that thing that you think will make you happy. But I fully agree. I mean, once we know what we want to do, that takes work too. I mean, our mission, Christy, is not just lying in the, in bed or in the couch doing nothing. Our mission is even harder work than showing up for someone else's dream, in my opinion, because it never shuts off. Like our missions are so big, so there's a constant. I can always do stuff to move this business and this mission forward. So of course that's hard work, but it's hard work that's fulfilling. It's hard work that's rewarding and giving me energy. And I think that's a big difference here. And whether I reach the big thing I want or not, I'm enjoying every single day.
That's really what it should be about. And I feel like with my clients, also what they're telling me a lot now is that they feel like they want to add value and they want to give back to society, like that their job feels a bit meaningless because they're just selling products that no one really needs or no one really cares about, and they really have to be excited about selling this thing. Meanwhile, they would much rather want to see a person becoming happier or really helping a family need or with something. So being much more there for society and just creating a better place in the world. I don't know if you see that with your clients as well, that they feel like they want to do something with a bit more meaning.
100%. And I mean, I don't understand why people try to separate the person they are in their job, thinking that, and I think we spoke about that before, like thinking that, I can suffer in my job. That's okay. This is just a job, but we spend majority of our times in our job. We spend majority of our time with these people. We spend majority of our times fulfilling a mission in this job. So how do we believe that that's going to be, like a cutoff, and then we go home and expect to have like the happy life and leave the job at the job? No. So it's all about alignment, aligning what you do on a daily basis. So if it's a job you go to, what are you contributing to your job? How is your job contributing to you fulfilling your bigger purpose in this world? How is that job contributing to you becoming the best version of yourself? So how can we align the mission of the company you're working with and for with the mission that you have for you and yourself and your life? And think that's what many people miss. They think that that's not necessary. They think that a job is just a job to get a financial income. So yeah, and I'm curious because we were talking about how do you help people spot these patterns in their career that can contribute to burnout, although they're not really realizing that.
Yeah, well, there are many different ways that you can get a burnout, but my, clients, it's really all about in their work. So they're actually always feeling exhausted. It's like a lot of different, because of course it's not like, oh, if you feel exhausted, oh no, I have a burnout, but it's like it's a different things that are combining, and it's like coming back all the time. They're not interested anymore in what they're doing. They lost the motivation. They feel irritable, frustrated. Also physical symptoms like aches and pains. A lot of these women also struggle with perfectionism, so they find it very difficult to say no. They're really people pleasers, and that's also what leads them into getting a burnout. So basically, when they come to me, then the burnout is, they've already recovered from the burnout, but now it's like, okay, what am I gonna do, with my life? So then the first step actually is to really know or acknowledge that you are feeling stuck, because a lot of people, they are like, oh, it's not so bad, and my job is a 6 or so it's okay, like it's fine. And I'm like, we're here on earth for such a short time. Let's make the most out of it, and let's do something that really excites us, that enjoys us. And that comes back to what you were saying. I really feel like it causes a ripple effect on the rest of your life. So if you're not happy in your career, you're more snappy with your husband, you don't feel like playing with your kids, you don't. I remember when I was not happy in my career, I didn't feel like seeing my friends anymore. I didn't really feel like exercising or going to the gym. So it all has an effect. And when I'm like really doing something that's thriving, I'm so much, it's like I fill up my own cup and I can pour onto others and do so many other things. So I think the first step is really to acknowledge, okay, I'm not happy in my career, and then also see, but what parts of my work is also giving me energy and really draining energy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about this also is that just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean that it gives you energy. And I think that's what a lot of people feel so lost, because they've been doing something for many years and they're like, yeah, but I'm so good at this, so I should be doing this right. But just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean that it gives you energy.
Yeah, so true. And Christy, do you think that people normalize this feeling of, like I said, exhaustion, no energy, not happy, no fulfillment? Do you think that they normalize it and kind of always also make it as that's just how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, that's just how it's supposed to be, and that's just life. And work's not meant to be fun. Work's meant to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I've also have clients who say things that maybe they shouldn't really be happy in life, or that life shouldn't be fun or exciting, or that it should be hard. And some people have, and when it all comes down to again is the mindset work, is working on your beliefs and trying to take those glasses off and putting new glasses on and trying to see the world from a different perspective. That yes, you can. Yes, you can have a yes, you can have a great career. But the first step is to really actually acknowledge to yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm not happy right now. Something needs to change. Because if you keep on digging your head in the sand and you keep on pretending that it's all fine, and that I think also has to do with a lot of people find it very difficult to feel their emotions.
Yes.
We don't want to feel pain. And I always say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen, you know? And the worst thing that can happen is always an emotion. And if you're able to process and feel all emotions and know that it's part of the human experience, then you become powerless, because then you can do anything,
Yeah.
whether it's public speaking or all the things that scare you, because you can handle that feeling, the
Yeah.
the tightness and stuff. And that's all part of personal development, to deal with everything. And you know what I
Yeah.
also feel like personally, if I can feel negative emotions more and allow them, then the happy emotions I feel them stronger. Like I feel
Yeah.
happiness so much more,
Yeah.
as if it's like a present. Okay, well, you've dealt with those
Yeah.
emotions, so now.
Yeah. It's polarities, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
polarity. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like once you bring that attention to that emotion, like you said, it loses its power over you. You know, because
Yes.
that's the thing. Once you bring something to light, it's not in the shadow anymore, and it loses its
Mm.
power over you. And I noticed this so much with my clients. I tell them, where is this emotion? You know, what is it telling you? And by acknowledging it and embracing it, and emotions, as we know, comes and goes in 90 seconds. Like it's gone. You know, okay, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's dissolving. It's not really there anymore. But if we keep pushing it
Mm.
down and avoiding it and hiding from it, it's always going to be kind of chasing us. You know, what you resist persists. That's the
Mm.
thing.
I would
Yeah.
actually literally, when I felt really negative emotions, actually close the door, sit on my bed, and just be like, okay, bring it on. And
Yeah.
like be like,
That for
okay,
me.
where do I feel it? Okay, here. I gave it a color red, called it Richard. So Richard was really like when I was
Oh,
feeling depressed. That was my depression.
wow.
Yeah. And thank the Lord, like I haven't felt Richard in a very long time. I think I felt him
Nice.
so
But I
much
hope
that
you
now
don't
he's
meet
gone.
people.
He
I hope you
disappeared.
don't meet any Richards that will like trigger this feeling. Imagine.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, and I'm actually quite curious also with you, like how you help your clients figure out whether their job is aligned with their values and whether they're on the right path, or whether they may be trying to please their parents. And maybe just one other quick question in between. When they come to you, do they already know that they're actually doing things for the outside world? Or is it more like, I know there's something wrong, and then through the coaching with you, they actually discover, see, I've been
Yeah.
trying to paint this perfect picture.
Yes, it's the second. Many people don't know that you're doing things
Yeah.
for the outside world.
Yes.
And when they realize it, it's like, oh my God, I've been lying to myself my whole life. And what do we do? Yeah, so you asked me how I connect them to their values. Most people don't know their values. I
Mm.
think there's like 2 or 3% of the population of America. And the reason I'm saying America is because that's the only statistics I have. But
Yeah.
2% of American people know their values. So most people, they know something is off.
Mm.
Most people know that maybe they're not living their full potential, or they're feeling this feeling of there's something off. So what I do is I can't like I basically connect them with themselves. I reconnect them with themselves. So I bring them back in. So instead of living out here, and instead of living for everything out here, we go back and go like, who am I? And once we identify values, for example, and that's it's not just a list of words. Values is so much more. You can also start to see, where have you violated these values? And at what point did you do that? And what stories and beliefs were contributing to you doing this?
Mm.
So all of a sudden, we're now uncovering programming that's running in the subconscious mind, because 90% of everything we do is just subconscious. We're uncovering those subconscious patterns that's happening, and how that's also making us act in a way that we're violating our values, which is we're going against ourselves and our soul and what we truly and deeply inside believe that we are, and that we are here to do on this world. So basically, it's reconnecting and bringing awareness, bringing stuff to awareness. And once we are aware of what we're doing and what's going on, that's when the work starts. Because I mean, you probably noticed this, Christy, like if we work with people that are 30 or 40 years old, they've been living this life like this for 30, 40 years. Meaning it doesn't take an overnight, like it doesn't take 1 or 2 days to make this change. It takes a bit more time, but still it does. I'm not saying that to scare people away, because at some point that there needs to be a cut. Like, I don't want to live my life like this anymore, and you don't have to. You are under no obligation to be the person you were 1 minute ago.
Mm.
And you can change that now. And I think that's how we are helping our clients. Yeah.
I think also the pain of staying where you are needs to be so painful at one point that you like, you have to, you know? And I think that's
Yeah.
also a lot of women with burnout, that's when they finally decide to make change.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like, well, don't let it get that far, you know? I think that's also the message I'm trying to bring across. Don't wait till you have a burnout.
Yeah.
Really try to think about what you want in your life before that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. I think many people don't even realize that this is what's happening.
They
They
don't even
don't.
realize they have a burnout until it
No.
gets really, really, really bad. Yeah.
Yes, because this is what they're seeing. Everyone complains about their job. Everyone is tired. Everyone is busy. Everyone is, waiting for XYZ to be resting or, waiting for the vacation to feel calm. It's normalized. And that's why I think conversations like this are so important,
Mm.
just to kind of plant that seed that maybe this is what's going on for you. Maybe just, and then again, like we've talked about that before, doing this work on your own can feel very, very overwhelming,
Mm.
but also you cannot see your own blind spots because you've lived like this for so long. It's become normal to you.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
don't
for
know what
me
you don't
and for
know.
you, exactly, you don't know what you don't know. So for me and for you, I know our life-changing moments have been when we've been working with coaches or peers or anyone that can mirror back to us what we're doing.
Mm. And why do you think self-love and self-compassion is so important in this journey of discovering who you are and letting go of your own self, old self?
Self-compassion is huge. I think there's nothing that can function, and you cannot be true and authentic if you don't love yourself.
Mm.
And if you're gonna keep being harsh on yourself, and I mean, before we went live, we had some technical issues, right?
Yes,
So
we
if
did.
we didn't have self-compassion with the fact that we're doing this for the first time, then this inner critic will take over. And we would literally say, you know what, Christy, you never go live again because you don't know how to do it. And you're such a failure because you failed at that one time when you tried to go live for the first time. And that's where self-compassion plays such a big role. And also as we're trying to, navigate in this life and pursuing things moving forward, it will never be perfect. But if we can recognize the effort and the progress and the fact that we're showing up and stepping into the person that we're meant to be, even if it's not perfect, even if it's messy all the time, that can't happen if we can't have self-compassion. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think in my own journey as well, I feel like maybe in the olden days I would get like so angry with myself, like you didn't do it properly, you
Yeah.
should have done this and that. And now I'm also much kinder to myself, and I really try to speak to myself as if I'm my own best friend, or as if I'm speaking to a child or something like that.
Yes.
So I'm really much more aware of the things I tell myself. And yes, of course, sometimes I do say something to myself that I'm like, whoa, okay. But then, the first thought, you can never control the first thought, but the second thought you can. So then I love the work of Byron Katie. I think she's absolutely
Yeah, me
amazing. And that
too.
has helped
Yes.
me also so much. And I do it with my clients also, if they have a
Yeah.
really strong negative limiting belief. So I really try to question all the beliefs and turn it around. And I think every thought triggers an emotion, and an emotion triggers an action. And when you start to change your thoughts, you have different emotions, um, and you start to do different things. And
Yeah.
then your life eventually really starts changing. And you start changing. Like, I'm not that same Christy I was a few years ago. And that's like so incredible, so weird at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like to see how far I've come and the journey and all these things. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I love, because I've seen it with myself, that's what I love helping my clients. So it's not just about finding a new career. It's really about creating a whole new you and creating a whole new belief system. That's why
Yeah.
the mindset work is just so powerful.
Fully agree with everything you just said. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons also why people are afraid to can maybe change career or work on themselves. Because all of the sudden, like you said, you're a total new person, a different person than you were 3 years ago. And I think when people hear the words like you've changed, it's kind of a negative thing, right? Well, I say like, good, we're supposed to change all the time. But for your friends, like I say that sometimes when people say, yeah, but I wrote the post like buying yourself will piss people off because all of the sudden you're changing, and who are you to them if you're not the person that you've always been to them? And it's kind of a threat because now all of a sudden you're threatening them. They also have to question their own identity because now you've changed, but they haven't. And who are you in relation to them? And, so all of a sudden change becomes a threat. And to your point, we started with like this tribal thinking. And that's, I think, why people are resisting change, because who are you now? How are you going to navigate life now when you're more yourself, but you've been living as someone else for a big part of your life? So I think that's so fascinating. But I'm curious, like, what are some of the unexpected questions that you can ask your client to help them uncover if they are truly on the right career path?
Well, I think that for them, what they really don't expect, how much it actually really is about that personal development journey, and how much it really also, the first questions is really about how much they have been living for the outside world. And then they'll see like, aha, I'm really just trying to please others and fit in. And though I think that's the very unusual thing. And then I start to like help them figure out, okay, well, what can I do next? And what's also a lot of times is if you see like what you did as a child, sometimes really interesting things can come up that you're like, sometimes we had like all these passions, but we've forgotten about these things. And what I also try to let people think, okay, for example, go walk through your house, because your whole life already gives you so many clues about what you want. I'm already looking at you at the back at your bookcase. I'm like, okay, I already get quite an interesting view of who you are,
Yeah.
And I think you need to go look back on your life. What do you love watching? What documentaries do you watch? What books do you like reading? What movies do you like watching? Also, was the last heated discussion you had about? This can also give you so many clues as to what you're really passionate about. And if you see that you are doing work that's completely different to all these things that you actually really enjoy, then you should maybe be thinking, how can I make a career out of that? And a lot of people say, yeah, but you cannot make a career out of your hobbies. And I really don't think that's true, because if I look also at my own career, it's all little things that I love doing. Like, for example, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a TV presenter. Look at me now. I'm presenting. I've got a microphone. I'm on Zoom. I'm talking to you. I mean, this love for psychology. Now I'm the whole day pretty much talking about psychology and stuff like that. And what I also quickly want to say is that things can also, maybe you don't immediately find your dream career, but everything is a stepping stone. So when I knew I was unhappy in my career, I thought, okay, I don't want to be behind my desk anymore. I want to be more creative. I want to work with my hands. And I thought I want to become a beautician. So I studied that. And I did an internship, and then I realized, this is actually not for me. But do I regret it? Like, not at all. Like, I learned so much there, also from like how to start a business and stuff, because where I did my internship, she started her business from scratch. So it was all like, and when I was busy with the massaging and things, I was like, I'm missing this. I'm missing talking to people about their feelings and thoughts. And I'm so interested in that. I'm very curious about what makes people tick. And if I never did that, then maybe I wouldn't have found this so quick, because 100%. That made me think, okay, so my advice to people also is take a chance, like go learn something new. Like, I'm never telling people immediately quit your job and find something else, but start to explore a bit. Also start speaking to people about maybe topics that you find interesting, or maybe something that you want to do that they are doing it. Ask them, what do they like about it? What don't they like about it? But you need to start, somewhere with exploring what other options are out there so that you can live a life that's more true to yourself and more fulfilling to yourself.
Yeah, no, fully. And I think I realized that too when people are wanting to make a change, they want to make it right in the first change, like because that's what they, they're afraid to take a leap because what if it's the wrong leap? I'm like, what is even the wrong leap, right?
Yeah.
And the most successful people I know has tried more things than many people have, has failed more times than many people will ever do in their lifetimes, but they're successful now because of these trial and errors and because of these failing forward. They now know what they don't like and also what they like. And, how would you have gotten to that realization that I'm missing this connection on an intellectual level and not just massaging if you didn't do it or facials or whatever you were doing? Like, how would you know that? It's
Yes.
impossible to think yourself to the future and sit around and think and go like, if I think long enough and pretend that I'm a beautician, will I now get that realization? No, stop playing in the safety zone. You need to throw yourself out in the unknown and take it from there, not fearing that. And the ego will always, always try to keep us in the known, which is the most horrifying place to be in.
And also, if you look at nature, plants and trees and everything's always growing and evolving constantly. We also are here on Earth to reach, our highest potential
Yeah.
and do learn new things. If you're just sitting in your desk in your office job and you feel miserable, you like shrivel up like a plant and you die. So
Yeah.
go out and try new things. And a lot of people say, yeah, but then I have to start all over and it's too late and I have to learn all these new things. But it's fun to learn new things. I can tell you, it's super exciting. And there's so many online courses you can do. And there's so many things you can maybe do in the weekends or at night. There's just so many options. But if you're really now going to say, it's going to be too difficult to change my career or do something else or be fulfilled and happy in my life, then it's really an obstacle and you're really stopping yourself from even exploring or thinking. You're not even quitting your job yet. First go explore and see. But if you have all these obstacles standing in the way,
Yeah. And you're
then
not starting all over. You're not starting all over. You're starting with experience.
we have so many transferable skills. And I have examples of different clients. It's like so amazing how they transitioned from one career to a completely different career because of the transferable skills. And yes, for example, I have one client, she went to 2 interviews, both of them said no. Could have stopped there, could have gone back to your old job, but she was like, no, I'm going to try one more time. Third interview, she got the job because they saw something in her transferable skills. They liked her as a person. She's an intelligent person. She can learn new things. So, and also you don't need to meet all the requirements on the interview, on the job application, because they are willing, they know you're an intelligent, smart person, so you can learn new things. And if you would already know exactly all the things that you had to do in that job, how boring would it be if you couldn't learn anything new?
Yeah, exactly. Going back to not working in a fulfilled job, like everyone is here, I think some of the basic needs that we have is contribution and growth. And if these two things are not happening, then we're starting to feel stuck. We're stagnating. And like you said, like the plants in the forest, like we're not growing, we're not evolving. And we're here to do that till the day we die. Like literally till the day we die. Until, if I'm 90, if I'm not growing, that's already, then you already died a long time ago, still living in a body, but your soul has died.
So
Yeah.
so important. All right. I think we have to round off. Do you have any last words or any last piece of advice to anyone listening right now, watching right now, feeling stuck in their life, in their career?
Yeah. Yes, I would suggest everyone to connect with themselves. Go back to yourself because your body and your mind is connected. So if there is some resistance somewhere, that's your body talking to you. That's your body telling you there's something off here and I need your attention. Don't just shut that voice down. Sometimes it requires a change, sometimes not, but I'm just encouraging everyone to connect with yourself, connect with your mind, connect with your body and listen inside. And when I say that, I also mean like without meditation, without any sound or external input, just sit with yourself and think about, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? And when you do that, those answers, like the you will talk to yourself. So it's literally you being with you and you having a conversation with yourself. It sounds maybe fluffy, but that's what's going to happen. So don't push your feelings away. They're there for a reason. They're there to remind you something and tell you something. Listen to your body, listen to yourself. That's the first start. Yeah, that's what I would say. Because if you don't, you're gonna go out in the world and live in the world from someone else than yourself, which is
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to pretend all the time. Yeah.
it
What
is.
about
It
you?
is. Yeah, no, I completely fully agree. Like, really trust your intuition. A lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't know what my intuition. And then I would advise cancel your plans in the weekend. Instead of always being
Yes.
busy, then you're not going to be able to listen. So go for a long walk in nature. Go for take a long shower or bath. Go, and that's not like immediately that's going to happen. But sometimes you have to try different things, and it's going to come. With me, for example, I'll always remember this. I was away for a weekend in Antwerp in Belgium, and I was running through a park, and then the whole thing of the coaching, it popped up in my head, and it was so strong. It was so like, it was really like this amazing feeling. And as of that moment, I started taking action towards it. um
Yes.
what I also love to do is start maybe creating a mood board or something with all the
Mm.
things that you love, all your passions, quotes, things, and then you can really work towards it and make it
Yeah.
come alive. But
Yeah.
do breath work, yoga, meditation, get in your body instead of in your head all the
Yes.
time. Get there, because that's where all the answers are.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Right.
that.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. This
And
was fun.
yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And
See you
till
next
next time.
time. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.